we gave each other a hug, and like I'm hugging Thierry Henry at the World Cup, and he's like, family's good, how are you? And I'm just like,
So
yeah, 44 pace.
44.
That's a violation on that one.
Oh, on this one? Yeah.
Yeah. Probably the day I found out I was going to the World Cup, and I remember I was just like, it was just tears. Like I don't really remember everything else.
Ready? Welcome. This is live from Langley BC, the #1 podcast in Langley, where we talk to Langley residents and business owners about local events and businesses. Today, we have one of Langley's very own rising stars in the professional soccer world. He's making huge waves in the MLS and has also represented Team Canada on the largest World Cup stage in Qatar. Please help me welcome Mr. Joel Waterman. Joel, welcome.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries. Excited to have you on today. We're mentioning two things that I love, and that's Langley and soccer. We had Mark Parker on earlier on, and he had a ton to tell about you, so I'm excited to actually have you on to hear it from the lion's mouth now. But before we get really into it, why don't you kind of give people a little bit of an idea of, who you are and your background?
Yeah, so like you said, Langley's very own, but I was actually born in Surrey. And then I moved to Aldergrove, a town just beside Langley, when I was about 2 years old. Been there ever since. Soccer has been my life since I was about 5 years old. Both my parents played. They love the sport. Our whole family played. Actually, my brother and my sister both played too. So it's just always been in our blood and always been in our family. So I started playing when I was about 5. I moved from Aldergrove in U11 to Langley United, from U11 to U14. And then I went to Surrey United BCSPL 15 to 18. After that, I went to Trinity Western University, got my degree after 5 years, played soccer there, and then went straight to the CPL. The CPL came around in 2019, so it was perfect because I graduated in 2019, so it just happened to be the perfect mesh there. From there, I was the first ever player to be sold from the CPL to MLS, which was amazing. Montreal took a chance on me, and I've been there ever since in the MLS, and obviously my national team stuff too with the men's national team. Got to go to a World Cup, which was an insane experience. But other than footy, I just love spending time with my family. I love listening to music. I love hanging out with friends, just kicking it and just hanging out and enjoying life as much as I can.
That's awesome, man. And like just hearing you say that, it's like picture perfect what every soccer player's dream is. Really, like, starting hometown and then just building your way up to ultimately appearing on the largest stage, representing the national team.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it wasn't, as picture perfect as it seems.
No, it was not a straight line like that.
But now to be playing on a professional soccer team with one of the legends of footy, Thierry Henry, which just I remember I've heard that you were playing there. I heard, obviously he's coached, but saying that out loud, that just like gives me goosebumps. So that's how's that been?
So he was only there for 1 year in 2020. So it was like during COVID. So COVID was terrible. So we didn't train for about 5 months. So we didn't really get to see the full package of what Thierry would have been like. But it's like you said, it's super cool to think like he had a hand in my signing and me getting there. So he must have seen something in me. And then it's actually a full circle moment at the World Cup. I saw him because he was the assistant coach for Belgium. And, we gave each other a hug, and like I'm hugging Thierry Henry at the World Cup, and he's like, family's good, how are you? And I'm just like, for a kid from Aldergrove who's grown up in the Canadian system, who probably shouldn't be where he's at, it was like a blessing. And just having that relationship with him just from a small amount of time that we had back in 2020, it's just insane. So, we didn't really get to see him in his full capacity, I don't think, which I would have really loved to. But still meeting him, still being coached by him, watching him train. He was still probably the best player on the pitch when he trained with us, and it was a season that I'll never forget, just because of obviously so many things off the pitch too, but obviously having him as a coach was just unreal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that your highlight of so far your footy career? What would you say is your highlight so far?
I mean, that obviously the World Cup has to be a highlight. Biggest stage in the world, like you said, the biggest tournament in the world. Every eyeball on you, just seeing how good some of those players were, and like our group was insane. Like it was Belgium, Croatia, and Morocco, and like you got to see 𝐏𝐡𝐨𝐧𝐞, you got to see Kevin De Bruyne, like you got to see the best players in the world, and it's like I feel like I'm so far from that after watching them, but it's like watching them in action was absolutely insane. So that was probably a highlight of my career. There's tons of highlights obviously in my career, but definitely the World Cup was one of them.
When you get on that stage though, it's literally like anything can happen, right? You look at the champs, world champs, Argentina losing to the Saudis.
Yeah.
So like when the lights come on and everybody's feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. So at that stage, they're your equal, right?
Yeah.
They might have a little bit more experience, but
Yeah.
when it comes down to it, they make a wrong turn and you're on goal. And
no, it's true. Like I thought we had a better game than Belgium in the first game, and like we really showed out and really showed people that we deserve to be on that world stage.
Huge,
and we have a very talented squad too. We have generational talents, and just seeing them play at the highest level against the best players in the world. Canada finally being there after so long, it was amazing to see, and hopefully it inspired the nation and inspired like our community like Langley and other places to really buy into the system and let people know and let kids know that they can actually make it.
Yeah, that the historic moment, obviously Canada being at that stage is insane, because like to be part of the best team potentially in history for Canada, that'd be a huge opportunity. And yes, it definitely did inspire little communities, large communities all across Canada, and that's what I'm excited for right now, being a parent and having someone locally for my kids to look up to is awesome. Before, right, us growing up, we'd always look overseas because that's even cross border. There wasn't too much.
Yeah.
But right, we'd have to look across the ocean and be like, okay, you got the Spanish league, you got the Germany league and all that. So, but now to have our own clubs and our own CPL team, which have you been exposed to anything in regards to the Vancouver FC team?
Yeah, I keep up with the CPL. I always love watching games. I think it's so cool that we have a team here finally. A team that people can get behind, and like hopefully there's a team in every province. We need that. We need our domestic league to be as big as possible, because not just me, like not just myself, but we have other players that have moved on too. So we're all walking testaments of what a domestic league can do, and then obviously with the women's league coming soon too, they're going to have more opportunities. And like you said, like growing up, you'd always have to go overseas or try and go across the line, and it was a far distant dream. But now we have our own domestic league. You can play professional football in your own backyard and hopefully make it to that next level and make it to MLS or make it even farther. So it's something that's like truly amazing, and I look at it and I'm just like, I want to be a part of it in some fashion. Mm-hmm. But I kept tabs on the Vancouver team. First year, always going to be tough. New players, new coaching staff, and things of that nature. But just to have it and for them to keep getting better every year, it's going to be really exciting to see. I want to watch a game live soon too. I haven't been able to go down there yet and watch a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of it. It's literally across the street from here. Like being able to watch a home game and not have to travel all the way to Vancouver with that many people here. It's nice and intimate.
Yeah.
Still maybe around like 4,000 or 5,000 spectators. So that's awesome.
Well, I used to train on that field playing for Langley, right? And like now there's like a full-fledged professional field. So it's amazing to see.
It's weird, man. Like same thing. Like training there.
Yeah,
I've been back you've been back a few times, and even just to kick the ball around.
Yeah.
Where now you can't
because
go in there because it's
pro
closed.
Soccer stadium. Yeah.
So that's been just like a huge eye opener. What we have right there, and now I'm just kicking the ball. Next to this pro soccer stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I'm excited for what's to come. It'll definitely open more doors.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you find though how the doors opened up for you in Langley in terms of your journey?
Yeah, for me, honestly, I was just so naive to it all. Like I was just playing soccer. Like I was just having so much fun, and I didn't really look too much into the future of where it was going to take me. I just knew I loved it, and I didn't have a plan B, so I just kind of went for it. And the only thing I tried to do was basically put myself in the best position to succeed. So Aldergrove was getting too small of a club, so that's why I moved to Langley. And then Langley didn't have BCSPL at the time, so that's why I moved to Surrey. So I just tried to play at the highest level and keep doing that and just see how far it took me. My parents let me do it, thankfully, because, sometimes they were like, hey, like what Canadian kid at 14, 15 says they want to be a professional footballer? Not a lot, right? So, and at that point too, the opportunities were slim to none.
And to have the talent though to back it up.
Exactly.
A lot of people say that.
Exactly.
I was one of those. and
exactly.
you got to have the talent to back it up.
Exactly. And like even sometimes I didn't think I had the talent because I was a late bloomer, and there's just so many things. I got cut from teams, and I've been through it all kind of in my short career thus far. But yeah, I was just naive. I was naive to it all. I just kind of kept playing, and then I went to a Canadian school, which is like not something you do really if you want to play professionally. And then, like I said, the lucky break for me was the CPL came in 2019, right when I was about to graduate, and then I went to Calgary and basically just, it all happened from there. I tried to put in a good year in the CPL there, and then obviously, Montreal saw that. So I was just super naive. Like, I was just a young kid. Like, I was just like, hey, let's just see how far they can take me. Like, the least I could do was just try, and then after that, we'll deal with consequences. But for me, I had to try because I just loved it so much. It was like my favorite place to be was at the pitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's. It's like therapy.
For
right?
sure.
And I feel like at any level.
For sure.
It feels like that.
And just, obviously the pressure grows, but at the end of the day, it's still the same game. No matter where you are, it's the same game, 11 players. For me, I'm still like a kid having fun. Like, I get to go, on the weekends and play in front of 20,000 people every weekend. Like, who gets to say they do that, right? So it's really a blessing, man. It is.
Living the dream, for sure.
Yeah.
Would you say you did anything out of the ordinary that, maybe helped you stand out when in terms of training, discipline, like daily routines?
To stand out, I don't know. I think I really just focused on the basics. Like, a lot of guys grew faster than I did, so I was a really late bloomer. So they had the athleticism, they had the speed and all that. So I just focused on the basic necessities of football, like being able to use both feet. I worked more the IQ of the game, which I think has helped me at this level and in my career for sure. Because I've slowly caught up, and now I'm 6'1", I'm a bit bigger, and now I'm a center back. So it's I just worked on the basic necessities of being able to play a 30-yard long ball to somebody, or use my left foot properly, or I feel like I did the small stuff really, really well. But then in terms of decision making, like, I went to certain clubs. Like, I went to a team in Bremerton called the 𝐏𝐡𝐨𝐧𝐞 Pumas, and it was a place where like nothing was going on. Like, you couldn't, no clubs, nothing. Like, it was just outside of Seattle, Washington. So I went there just to fully focus on football for a summer, and that's when I played in the PDL, and that's when I was 20. I think it was 2016. And I really became like a man that year. And that was like the one place where I didn't think I was going to go. I just went to the tryout and said, listen, like, if I make it, I make it. I probably won't go there anyways. But it allowed me to focus on football and really just like hone in on, my craft, and being able to leave out those other distractions of, the partying and going out and a lot of things that people may choose differently than their path in football. So I think I just did those and made the smart decisions and realized what I wanted and what I envisioned for the future. I knew I had to make certain sacrifices. So those were the things I was willing to do. And I just feel like people aren't willing to kind of sacrifice the things they want now for what they want later. So I think those two things, I worked on the basics, and I just put myself in the best positions to succeed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That does play a huge role.
Huge.
The second part with having, the distractions, we've both played with some insanely talented players, and
who don't make it.
They just give up.
Girls, it could be.
Happens. There's friends, wrong people.
For sure.
Trying to impress the wrong people.
And I don't know what high school you went. Where'd you grow up?
I went to Brookswood.
Brookswood. Okay,
Yeah.
so do you know who 𝐏𝐡𝐨𝐽 is?
Yeah.
You do know him?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's one of my best friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just, I know some people that went to Brookswood, but yeah, you get the wrong crowd. People are just partying, doing what they do in high school, and it can turn really fast, right? So I was the kind of kid staying in on Friday nights because I had a game on Saturday morning, right? So sports kind of saved me, like, from making stupid decisions. So I just wish that for kids, I think it's the most important thing for kids to be in sports and have that group of, like you said, it's an outlet. It's therapy for people. So hopefully kids can stay active and playing sports, right?
I feel like, with the exposure that football's gotten recently, people are going to take it more serious, right? That's all it takes. Someone who, creates the path, and then they see, wow, it is possible. And it's not even like you fluked out or like you had insane, like take Davies, for example, right off the hop, straight into, overseas play. And you're, well, obviously you played here first, straight into top league. Yeah. But then he went overseas, and, people can't really relate to that story. Whereas for you, you roughed it out. Yeah. And then one of those things is, going on that trial that, didn't end up going as planned, right?
For sure.
So if you had let that stop you on top of everything, you wouldn't be sitting here today.
No, and like, I think that, you probably alluding to the Vancouver Whitecaps trial.
Yeah, so tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was there.
That'll crush somebody's dreams right there.
Yeah, so I was never part of the Whitecaps system growing up. I was just always in youth playing BCSPL, and I had a trial there when I was 18, I believe I was, for about 2 weeks. And at that point, they had like crazy players. They had like Sam Adekubi, who I'm really good friends with, his brother too, and we're all just super close. He's had a storied career already, and he's only like 28. He's back with the Vancouver Whitecaps now. But guys like Marco Bustos, guys like 𝐏𝐡𝐨𝐧𝐞, guys like Mitch Perot, like they had a stacked team. And at that time, I honestly wasn't ready. So I didn't make it after the 2 weeks. I came here for 2 weeks, didn't make it. Decided to go to school. And to this day, it's one of the best decisions, not best decisions on me, but best decisions I think the coaching staff made for me, because I heard no really early. I heard no even before that back in U14 when I didn't make the National Training Center. I was just a late bloomer, like I said, too small. So I made the provincial team in U13 and U18. I didn't make it from 14 to 17 because they just didn't choose me. So hearing that no early really prepared me mentally. I think not a lot of players hear it early enough. So when it happens when they're 20, 21, they don't really know what to do with themselves. So for me, I heard it early, which was a blessing in disguise. And then I just kind of made and forged my own path. Like, I think the Whitecaps is a fantastic organization who has amazing players, but it's not for everybody. It's not for, and they might let some people fall through the cracks. And that's what kind of happened with me. And even at the time, I wasn't even ready, I don't think, for that level. But then I just kind of forged my own path and said, listen, like, I'm just going to take it for what it is. It's one coach's opinion or a staff's opinion of me. It's not, everyone's opinion of me. So I just, I kind of did my own thing after that and kind of forged my own way. So I just let it fuel me and let it just inspire me to be better and to do better after that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's cool that, that is the option out there, because a lot of people, like I said, they think it goes, you get scouted early, like they come to you, and from there you kill it, and then you go to Europe or straight to the MLS. But it's like, well, you got, put back a couple pegs, and then you had to work your way back up. Put in the training when nobody's watching, and then only then were you ready for the next obstacle, which, if you weren't ready, if you had taken the back seat and been like, maybe I'm going to just see where it goes and not really focus on it the way you did, you wouldn't have been ready when the time came.
Absolutely.
Right? So
absolutely.
That's awesome, man. That's really inspiring.
Yeah.
And I hope there's somebody watching, and I hope we can clip that and make it go viral, so somebody watching can actually see that, the opportunity is out there, and not to give up, if you get told no. Because, hey, it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's the best thing.
It's better to get told no. Even we had a MMA fighter, a champ. I don't know if you watch MMA. He fights for the BFL.
Okay.
And that's like a local UFC. And he's saying, like, it's better to get told no in a sport, lose in a sport, get choked out in this case, than to lose your career or your family or your life later on in life. Because, hey, that's a way better learning experience earlier on than the ultimate failure down the road.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you went through the trial, you didn't make it, then you worked your way into, how did you transition into the CPL? First of all, you tried out for Calgary. Did you get scouted?
No. So when I went to school at Trinity in the summers, there was nowhere for us to play, because the season only went from basically August preseason to about November. If you made playoffs, you go late November. And then the rest of the year was basically off. So we'd have a spring season with Trinity basically from January to April. And then the whole summers, guys would go home, right? Because not a lot of guys in that league, especially when I was playing, really thought about going pro. Like, they loved playing university football, and that's fantastic. And they were really good players, but they had no ambition to go anywhere else. So for me, having that ambition, I needed somewhere to play in the summer. So I played in the PDL. It was the PDL. I think it's the USL 2 now. I think they named it something different. But, in the summer of 18, my last summer before my final year, I went to Foothills in Calgary. So that's where Tommy Wheeldon was my head coach. And then that transition, so I played for his team in the summer, played my last year of school, and then because of that relationship I had with him, he was the coach of Cavalry FC, the CPL team in 2019. So basically he took 11, 12 of our best guys from that PDL team to the CPL team. So that was kind of my transition. And I wasn't even going to be in the CPL draft, actually, because it was so new to everybody, and it was just launching a new domestic league. Everyone's like, okay, what's it going to be like? Is there going to be 2 teams, 3 teams? Like, what's the point of that, right? So my mindset was like overseas. But then I got a call from the CPL, and they're like, no, you should really declare for the draft. Like, it's going to be proper. Like, you're going to go to either Pacific at the time in Victoria or Calgary, because that's just closer to my home. I didn't want to go all the way to Hamilton or Halifax. That would have been really far. So then played my last year at Trinity, and then basically in that November, right after Nationals, we got back from Nationals, they had the draft, and then that's where Tommy drafted me in the CPL. So then went to the CPL, and then had one good year, and then I was transferred after that. But yeah, I wasn't even going to declare. Not a lot of people know that, but if I didn't, who knows if I would be.
If you didn't even go down to the States to play those summers, right?
Yeah.
they would have never met, and then
For sure.
It's like a domino effect.
Yeah, because I played for 3 different PDL teams in 3 different summers. So 16, I played for the 𝐏𝐡𝐨𝐧𝐞 Pumas down in Seattle. Then I came back home to play for the TSS Rovers in Richmond in 2017. And then I said, listen, like they were just a brand new team. I can't stay here and try and build something. Like I'm trying to go myself. And then that's when I went to Foothills because they're already established, very good team. And then we ended up winning the whole thing, nationals, everything that year. So like it really put a target on our team, and people knew we were good. And then basically from there, CPL kind of happened. Mm-hmm. So it kind of happened really organically and at the perfect time, because if that didn't happen, I don't know if I'd be here. So like I try and tell people too, in every journey, there's going to be some luck that goes your way. Like it's inevitable. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I did everything myself. And like, no, I'm just not that kind of person. But there's some things that have to go your way. And fortunately for me, they did. And now I'm here.
That's actually crazy that you say that.
Mm-hmm.
And I recently also heard just out of nowhere, and I don't know if it's just the content I'm consuming, but I've seen it 3 or 4 times in the last month where somebody who's made it admits that, hey, there's luck. There's definitely luck. But the thing is, you have to be prepared for the obstacle as well, right? So you have to have enough preparation under your belt to be able to take on that moment where you get that lucky bounce.
For sure.
And then take advantage of it. Otherwise, you weren't even ready to, compete,
yeah, very well said.
Right?
Like you almost have to create your own luck in a way, right? Like I said, put yourself in this best position to succeed, and then, you have to be good enough first of all. So that takes every day you're doing something and doing different things, and then, it just happens to kind of fall your way sometimes. And that was the one moment probably in my career where I was like, yeah, that wasn't me at all. Like that just happened organically, and it happened at the, best time.
And then from there, then kind of everything trickled down. You went CPL to MLS, which is...
So I was the first one. Like for it to happen in the first year was kind of crazy.
Okay.
Like I didn't expect it. They just called me out of the blue, and I couldn't believe it. And I think I was like in 𝐾𝐻 training with some BC guys when it all kind of went down. And one of my best boys, Mamadi, was in the car, and like they were like, yeah, they're interested, whatever. And Tommy called me, and it happened within like a week. Like I was just so surprised. Like I did not think it was gonna happen. And it wasn't. That was the first one ever. Like I had nothing to go off of. I couldn't ask anybody like how do you feel for the MLS? Like how did it go? So my first year was like really difficult. But ever since then, I think there's been like double-digit guys who have made moves to Europe or MLS and have done really well. So now that like you said, that pathway's there, and certain people can see it now, so it's good.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like you now, at that point, because CPL is, I mean, it's what, semi-pro, I'd say, like Division 2, I guess.
It's like their own. It's our own domestic league, right? It's our own Canadian professional league.
So like kind of like a Division 2, and then
people
MLS is like the Division 1.
Yeah, I mean MLS is more North American, obviously, because of the American teams. So this is just a league we can call our own, but. But yeah, it's a fantastic start, obviously, because I think we have like 8 FC Edmonton folded, but I think we have like 8 teams now, 7 teams, and we're gonna get apparently a couple more by 2025. So
yeah, I mean, obviously the more heavily populated areas. I know Surrey was trying to build some sort of a stadium. They're talking about it, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. They're kind of limited with space, but they have the population for sure. Surrey's gonna, obviously in real estate we always talk about it. Surrey's going to pretty much overgrow Vancouver's population.
I saw a clip of that. I think it was from you.
Yeah, like 2044 or something.
That's crazy.
Just the way the pace of everything's going and just the building that's happening.
Interesting.
So, it'd be crazy to see that, because then we're going to be like, still just outside of downtown Surrey.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about some moments. I have one here, but before I ask you about that one, what is the most memorable moment for you so far, like in your career? I think you mentioned something about that.
Yeah. Most memorable, probably the day I found out I was going to the World Cup. I remember I was in Dubai already for training camp with the team, and I just had a meeting with the national team coach, and they told me, and I remember I was just like, it was just tears. Like I don't really remember everything else. Then after I called my parents, and they were just crying, and like it was a moment where it was like everything that they've done for me, everything I've done, everything the people behind me in my village have done for me. It was like a moment where it was like it was all worth it. Like it was for this, just to see all the hard work that's gone into it, and all the difficult times that we had. But it was, my parents, I think they were just crying. I was crying. No words were spoken. Like it was just kind of like, wow, we were just so much in disbelief. And even that whole tournament was just like all a blur for me, because I was just like, I've obviously before that walked onto different fields and stadiums, but then you see like the World Cup banners everywhere around, and you're just like, this is, obviously what kids dream about and everyone dreams about. So, yeah, that was probably one of the most memorable. Just kind of sitting in that hotel room talking to my parents, and then obviously the day I made, or Montreal called me probably was another memorable one. I was just like in the car, just like such in disbelief again, and then obviously like more simpler ones too, like back at Trinity when we made nationals, like when we beat York and PKs, like those times are super important to me because they kind of bring me back down to earth too, and like really remember like who was along that journey with me, like just all my boys who I still talk to this day. We're all still best friends, and those are, you know, moments that I'll never forget as well. I think those moments are almost more important because it's like the people who you do it with, and like I just love doing it with people that I care about, and so it's, yeah, there's just so many memorable ones that, you know, it's kind of hard to choose, but those are probably the ones that kind of stand out.
That's awesome. The one I have here was obviously goal related. You had your first goal against Orlando. I guess that was
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, my first MLS goal. Yeah, like terrible goal. I remember it was off like a corner, and like I just trickled in, like I mishit it. Yeah, thought it was offside and had to celebrate late and stuff like that. Yeah. But the VAR comes in. Yeah. You're just kind of standing there. You got to celebrate twice, and yeah, that was memorable too. Got a ball signed by, you know, all my teammates and stuff, and that's still at my house, and I'm gonna have a lot of cool things to hang up, hopefully.
I was looking for some, actually. I was trying to scour the internet.
Yeah.
Just recently got into the whole like trading card thing, you know.
Yeah.
With, I don't know, it's been around for so long, but now the light's been shed on it because of obviously recent, you know, insane values on some of these trading cards.
Crazy.
And I had, you know, somebody who was hosting an event at Langley Event Center here. Yeah. And so he got me all hyped up about it, and I was like, hey, you know, it'd be cool finding a trading card with like, you know, Topps, because Topps does the whole MLS thing. And I think I found one, but it's not of you. It's just the impact, and it's like a goal celebration. Gotcha. So like you're in there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh dang! If there was one of him, I'd try to get that, scoop it. But no, it's cool. Even having that, you know, as on your wall somewhere.
Yeah.
And then the other goal you had, where it's like the game winner. I don't have.
Oh, in Columbus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was special too. That was like after 2 hours of delay or something like that in the storm, and we went back on the pitch at like 11 or like 11:30, and we were down 1-0 with like 15 minutes left, and then one of my teammates at the time, Kai, he scored a header in the 86th, and then I scored in like the 94th or something like that, and yeah.
So that was away, that one.
That was away. Yeah, there was like no fans left, and then one left because like of the weather, but that one was special too because one of my coaches in Montreal, Jason DeTulio, he passed from brain cancer.
Oh shoot.
And at that time, I think we just found out like a month before that, or it was his funeral just before that, and then we won that game in just true Jason DeTulio fashion because he was just like the definition of, he calls it la grinta. It's kind of a mindset, like grit, kind of. So that game was like a very memorable one for a whole club. So to be able to score that goal was pretty sweet.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's and I'm sure there's going to be more to come, hopefully with the red shirt on.
Yeah, I got to get some more goals, man. I got to bump my stats up.
Well, that's the thing, right? Well, yeah, speaking of stats, we'll talk about the FIFA player card.
Oh, yeah. But I'm just going to get mad, though, after seeing the ranking on there.
You just got to get a couple more slide tackles in there.
Yeah, I guess so. Just, like, you know, I guess so.
That's all it is. Just while you're playing the whole time, just start thinking, okay, what I got to do to get my stats up?
Yeah, my FIFA card better. Yeah. How do I get above a 70?
Get your percentages up. Okay, possession. Don't lose it.
Exactly.
Balls,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, let's pull it up now because we're in it. So you got your FIFA.
Oh, I haven't even seen the World Cup one yet.
Yeah, so that's a new one, the Qatar one. So
yeah, 44 pace.
44.
That's a violation on that one.
Oh, on this one, yeah.
I'm not that slow.
I feel like they never really see you at your full sprint though, fullback.
Yeah,
you know? You're
always in the right place. You don't have to sprint.
Yeah,
no,
exactly. You're sweeping. You know.
Yeah. No, I'm okay with that.
No, that's good. That's good. Very physical. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I feel like you just get that because you have the center back title, you know. If anyone watches me, I'm not the most physical person, but like I'm trying to add that to my game. But
you're just getting stuck in there, and these are obviously the previous ones.
Yeah.
What's that? This one also has though Canada on there, so that's 22. So you were already, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's just for the nationality though.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have obviously not a World Cup card in. Oh yeah, it was in 22.
That's the World Cup was 22.
Yeah,
right?
it was 22.
Yeah. 22. 23 now, yeah.
I don't know when the World Cup one came out. That's the first time I ever saw it.
Yeah,
but
so it's kind of like a collector's card. Man, getting these,
yeah,
because that's another thing I was looking at. I'm like, oh, it'd be sweet to get one of these, like, because you can get them plaques,
yeah.
like framed.
Yes.
I
That's a great idea, actually. I might do
That'd be
that because
sweet.
to actually even be in the game is crazy. Like we grew up on FIFA. Like you probably played FIFA. Like tons
all
of
we
your
had
friends.
is Ultimate Team.
That's
you know,
it.
You got
That's
your
it.
player
And
and
you
stuff.
go over to your boy's house and you guys would play FIFA all the time and trash talk and like that was our childhood, like playing FIFA. So like to actually be in it and like then there's people like messaging me and being like, you're in FIFA, I have your card and blah blah. And I'm just like,
like they pulled it.
yeah, like
That's
I'm like
sweet.
that's amazing. Like they had me in their ultimate teams and like.
That's 21. So that's
Yeah,
when
that's
you
21.
were. That's the Montreal.
Yeah, that's when we were the Impact. We've changed a couple times. We were the Montreal Impact, then we changed the Club de Foot Montreal in 2021 with a new logo, and then we had to change it again. So now it's CF Montreal.
That's
so that's
probably
why
what it is. Okay, let's go back to the top one. Let's go. That's the recent one. But yeah, no, the graphics and everything are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have
Have you played FC yet? The new one?
No, I haven't.
No.
They changed the
good.
name, right?
Yeah, just FC now.
Well, do you know anything about that?
I don't know. I played it. I don't know why.
I haven't played it in a couple of years now, but I don't game, and that's the only game I'll game, and I don't have a system. I didn't buy one.
You're not a Call of Duty guy?
No.
Just like no time or just no interest? Both?
I have a very, very strong addiction to FIFA.
Mm.
And it's like, there was a time where my friend brought it over for like Christmas. We were just hanging out.
Yeah.
And they left it was just like a PS4. It was like an older game.
And you played it every day.
For like a week straight, during the whiteout, my girlfriend at the time was like, I've never seen this side of you. And I'm like, there's a reason. This is why
your fiance now would not be your fiance if you got a PS5
she's not against. She's like, cool, like you're normal.
Yeah.
Because other than that, it's like, what do you do? You're doing all this crazy other stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Why can't you just play video games?
You just get addicted.
That's kind of one of the biggest, I guess, downfalls. But I mean, hey, it's addicting.
It is. Especially if you have like a good gaming chair and then you got like snacks.
Oh, yeah,
you can for hours.
Like 6 to 8 hours easily.
Yeah.
Right? Until you go on a losing streak. Then you're like,
and
nah,
then you're just
done.
your head goes.
You're gonna be like,
nah.
yeah, and then it's weird how that starts, right?
I know.
You lose one game, then you're like, okay, whatever. Next game, lose it again. And you're like, what's going on?
Yeah, you
I'm
have
not
some of
even
those
playing
days
anymore. And then third game, okay, you just rage quit right there.
No, I'm the same way. I got so mad. Like I almost had friendships that were like broken because of that game, man. Like back in COVID, like we played like 'cause I didn't have to train, right? Like you couldn't train, and I played my boys from back home, and like one of my boys actually sold his Xbox. He's like he just got too angry. Like it just the competitive side of it in us is just I know what you mean. I know how you
That's so
feel.
funny.
I know
Yeah,
how you
no,
feel.
it's weird where it comes out of. I don't even know. It's a different side of
It's a
me.
different side.
I mean, I get the same thing on the pitch though, if you think about it.
For sure.
Like
I'm a different person on the pitch. Yeah.
So different.
Yeah.
Like, and everybody is, right?
Sure.
Because after like that's one thing.
Yeah.
Playing footy and like you get into some banter, it turns into heat of the moment, the stuff, and then once the last whistle blows, you're like, hey, it's all good.
It's
man.
all good.
Just
you go and hug them after.
We're going to work tomorrow. Like,
Yeah,
we're not trying
yeah.
to hurt anybody here, and it's like it's a weird release that you get from playing, but
yeah.
Well, how about anything that you're currently working on right now that you got in the works? I have some stuff here about like, some initiatives you're making.
Yeah, just some stuff. Like obviously being in my community is super important. So a lot of people don't know that Kids Sport. I don't know if you know who Kids Sport is. I'm the ambassador for Kids Sport BC, and it's basically an organization that cuts the barriers of costs for kids to play sports. So they'll hand out grants like $500, $1,000, whatever the family needs for a kid to get equipment or registration fees. And I didn't know this until 2020, but I was actually a recipient of Kids Sport back when I was like 6 years old. Like my parents couldn't afford to put me in soccer. So Kids Sport came in and gave us like $500, something like that, registration all done. And now I'm a professional footballer. So it's like without Kids Sport's help, I don't know if I'd be here, right? So that's another thing, like giving back. So I try and do as much as I can for them. I'm also part of a Goal Initiatives. It's called Goal Initiatives in Montreal, kind of the same thing, very event-based. So they basically give grants to anybody. It could be a single person, it could be a team, equipment, whatever it is, for them to be involved in sport, because obviously sport is like the hub of kind of what we do. We want kids to stay active and to be a part of a team. Yeah, those are the kind of things I've been interested in and kind of helping out with. So if people want to check it out, they can go to my socials.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I don't have Twitter anymore. Had to get rid of Twitter.
Toxic.
Toxic, man. Like, you just see everyone's opinions, and certain people just, yeah, I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah,
Social media is a very positive thing, but it can also be a curse.
Oh, huge.
Instagram, Facebook. I'm mainly just on Instagram, though. That's like my biggest thing. And then I have Facebook. I don't really use it as much, though. That's kind of for
that's for like
the older generations of family members and stuff like that.
Yeah, the family members and all that.
But yeah, everything's through my Instagram.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it was awesome, getting to know you, hearing all about your journey. What we like to do at the end of every, session here is we like to feature a local restaurant for us to have a little taste. We've had them on a few times. The owner's been on, and you said you've been there.
Just like 2 weeks ago, I tried it for the first time.
Awesome. They have a really cool vibe, right? So this is the Barley
cool.
Merchant. Really cool vibe there. They have live music. They have, tons of beer on tap, craft beer, local beer. And then they also have homemade, dishes that they make from scratch every single day.
Wow.
So yeah, today I got some tacos and the go-to steak frites. That's my go-to right there. So yeah, let's dig into it. Don't worry about being super.
Try one of those tacos.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna get these last time, but then I ended up getting the chicken wings.
Chicken wings are good. Yeah.
Chicken wings are very good too. So what is this? Beef, chicken?
That is chicken. Yeah,
Okay.
and they have pickled
supposed
onions. They have
a little lime on there.
Cheese, goat cheese. I don't know. I'm gonna get it wrong, so I'm not even gonna say
Goat
it.
cheese.
Yeah, I think that's goat cheese.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
Cheers.
I'm gonna have a bite of this steak here.
We don't have napkins, do we?
No, I dropped the ball there.
Oh, you're good. Wow, very good.
Yeah, right? It's not like your typical taco where it's like, okay, just, chicken, no flavor. You get some, spicy sauce here and there. That has like an explosion of flavor.
Yeah, wow. Have you been to like Mexico or anything like that, or Arizona? I went to Arizona like last week. Amazing tacos.
Oh, I bet.
Amazing.
They got the authentic ones, right?
Yeah, these are fantastic though too.
There's a few. So in Langley, if you're talking like, the more authentic, like Mexican tacos, South American tacos, you basically can find them at Tacoholics. That's downtown Langley. Then there's like 2 or 3 different Mexican places. Oh, thank you.
Oh,
clutch.
Savior. Little Kleenex
So there's Adelicias and Viva Mexico.
Yeah.
And actually Celito Lindo. They're all there on the one way. There's like 4 places.
Yeah. No, these are
those are one thing. This is like more gourmet style tacos, I'll say.
Yeah.
But
no,
so
these are
good.
proper.
It's good. It's good
Pickled
to try.
onions on there.
Yeah. Let me get it in here real quick.
Move mine out of the way there. No, that's a proper one. Corn tortilla or like flour tortilla for you?
Well, these are corn, so I mean, I'm getting
corn is better.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know if I can taste the difference, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. Here, you take a little steak in there. I don't want to spill anywhere. I'm known for making a mess.
Yeah, it's proper. I love steak too.
You're talking about like your diet being like super clean right now. What
Are we still rolling right now, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're still going.
I love it.
We mow on the podcast live. It's like that mix of ASMR, you know what I mean? But
try not to eat too close to the mic.
yeah, no, that's the best
burning me
part. That's the best part. Just like super loud. No. Your diet. So what are you usually eating on like mid-season, off-season, life of an athlete? Give me a breakdown.
No, like during the season, carbs, need energy. That's basically how it is. Off-season, I don't eat much in the off-season because when you're working out and you're burning the calories, then you feel hungry. Off-season, you're not really doing much. So like you're just kind of sitting around. You don't really get that appetite, right? So it's a lot more like veggies and not as much pasta and carb loading, because if you're not really doing anything, they don't really need that. You know what I mean? Like you don't really need those calories. I'm not a calorie counter by any means. I'm a very picky eater. We talked about this before. There's only certain things I like. I don't like seafood. I don't really like going outside of my, athlete plate, I guess. Like I like a good salad, sweet potatoes, chicken's like one of my favorite things, pasta. But yeah, it's really tailored to you. Like, you know your own body, I think, the best. I think, you probably see in football nowadays, like, a lot of science is being brought in. Like, okay, to a certain degree, I think it's good, but there's certain things where it's like, I don't think need to be part of football. Like, I think there's, certain technology and stuff I'd rather not see in it. And I'm not really talking about VAR. I'm just talking about like, health-wise and like lifting-wise and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, VAR, like, that's changed the game.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's
not. There's no margin for error anymore. Before,
yeah,
one of the most historic moments in history, Maradona, hand of God would have been disallowed.
Exactly.
And now,
so I think there should be. That's a bit crazy, that one.
that was.
But there's a certain degree of like uncertainty I think you should have in any sport. Like, it can go either way.
Yeah, I think it's
that
footy's one of the only ones that footy and football, right?
Yeah.
Like
tennis, it makes sense because it's like a different sport,
yeah,
right? The lines and stuff. But even today, I was watching Galatasaray and Man United, and the Galatasaray guy was like his shoulder, and it's like a chunk of his shoulder was just passed, and like, it's like, what are we doing? Like,
oh my God,
and as a defender too, I'm saying that they called it back. Of course they did, but yeah, I get the you want to be true and the the whole game and whatnot, but yeah, I still think there should be some uncertainty in there. I think that's what keeps sports kind of interesting too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I get that.
We were talking about diet, so I kind of went
off. No, it's funny
left there, but yeah,
that is a technology. Diet's too technology. I mean, like, here's the thing though, with in terms of diet, right? You're right. Your body. It's not even that you get hungry. It's like your body needs that extra carb, so they crave it. And that's funny because people try to like go on runs to lose weight. And playing and being an athlete, you realize, hey, but you don't actually lose weight because you eat way more.
You don't eat.
Yeah, you have to it's basically starving yourself or doing the fast and stuff if you really want to lose weight.
For sure.
But what are you eating on game day? How about that?
Game day?
That's a big one. That's a big one. I've been, obviously, growing up, my parents always told me, like, hey, carb load, game day early, get
those old commercials of, like, the hockey players with the big bowl of pasta. And
yeah.
They're kind of just, for breakfast, I don't like eggs. So it's usually, like, a piece of toast with peanut butter, some yogurt, granola maybe. And then always before pregame is, like, half, like, a chicken breast, big bowl of pasta. And then if I'm still hungry after that, I'll do, like, fruit. Because fruit gives good carbs and good energy and good sugar. So I'll do some fruit and that's it.
Any intra workout?
No, not really.
Are you allowed to take some of those
Yeah, certain things. Like, if they're NSF and if they're certified in the league, we have a list that we check. But I honestly, I'm more of a natural. Like, I don't really take things from my body. Like, even in pain, like painkillers and all that, I don't really do that. Everyone's different. I see certain guys on my team have a Red Bull before every game. Like, that's just not me. Does it help?
I think that helps.
I don't know.
For them, it's more probably like a ritual at that point. Because, if you're doing that every game, like, the amount of caffeine doesn't even affect you anymore. You have at least 2 or 3 and keep stacking it up.
Yeah, so maybe I'll have a couple pieces of fruit too, like a little gel. But other than that, I'm pretty clean, man. Like, I see some guys do some crazy stuff. Like, I like that smelling salt, though. The smelling salts before the game, that gets me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That wakes me up a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried to do that lifting, and it was like, I don't know. It kind of, if anything, it just throws me off because I'm like, what was that?
It just wakes you up like it's almost too much, and it's
just like because like when I'm lifting, I want to make sure like I'm focused, and if I take that take a whiff, it's just like, what is happening?
That's what I feel about caffeine.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, same.
Like, it kind of just puts me off, and I don't drink coffee. Like, it just kind of.
You get all jittery, and then you don't know how to manage it, and then you get all anxious about it. Yeah, no.
For sure.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that's good to know. I'll make sure I'll keep that in mind for my next game.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for jumping on. You kind of already shared your socials. Anything that you want to bring up before we wrap up here?
Nah, I had a great time. This was awesome, man. Cool. I think what you guys are doing, shedding light on the Langley community and stuff, is great. Like, I think we need more things like this, and putting people in the spotlight. Like you said, you've had tons of different guests that are doing equally as important things, if not better things, than what I'm doing. So it's fantastic for our community, man.
Everyone has their own role, right?
Yeah.
And that's the awesome part, how everybody comes together in some way. And at the end of it all, they always look back on, where they were raised, the community they were brought up in, and they're grateful. So they want to do whatever they can to, shed light on that, because there's a saying, it's like, whenever you're done, leave things better than you left them.
For sure.
Right? So if you want to do that,
Yeah.
what other way is there to do it?
Yeah.
Other than to be able to inspire and set up, all these programs for people coming after you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, it's awesome.
Absolutely,
Thanks for, continuing to help out the community here.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. And thanks so much for watching. If you guys have any questions for myself, or you can throw them in the comments, or you can reach out on Instagram. You can subscribe if you haven't already. We do videos like this every single month, every single week right now, because it's almost Christmas time.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. So
Appreciate it.
thanks so much for watching.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. All right, cool. Good. Sweet.